My man.
What up?
I hear it's seeker season.
It's always seeker season.
That's
now particularly so.
The only answer. I mean, okay, cool. Lots of places we can go, but I think very selfishly, Josh and I we're sitting here at the beginning of the show thinking, what is it going to take to get Josh and I to actually use a crypto phone? And the unfortunate answer maybe for you is, we don't know, man. What is, like, is it going to be possible? Are you going to be, so I'm curious, I mean, are you out here trying to go change this sort of fundamental buying behavior? Is this like the second phone that I should be carrying around with me? Where does this fit into the average person's lives?
Yeah. First off, yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Good question to start with. The answer is different for everybody, which I know is kind of like a lame answer, but let me just kind of
with a smile on your face, though. So
I know,
okay.
I mean it, because everybody uses it differently, even people on my team. I think for a lot of people who are already in this space, people who have been using crypto for a long time, to us, Seeker solves some of the main problems that have affected the ability to buy and trade and sell on the go, which is that the user experience is kind of lousy and the security is pretty bad, right? So we've all kind of grown accustomed to this idea that you like open up a wallet app and go to the in-app browser on your iPhone or whatever, and maybe the product that was built has like a decent mobile website. But like more often than not, that's not the case. And so really what we're out to solve is that core journey. How do we make that as seamless as possible so that people who want to interact with crypto can do it super easily, but also not be left in a world of fear if they do want to self-custody their assets, that those are going to be susceptible. So yeah, for the people who like just want to buy and sell some tokens on Coinbase, we're not solving a huge problem for those people. But as you guys know, the majority of innovation happening in our space, whether it's DeFi or payments, really any of the use cases, go way beyond just that centralized exchange entry point.
Do not like this thing.
It's got a place.
Seeing in the chat here, piece says, I would like to formally go on the record and say bullish TEE. I want Seeker, not Ledger. So is this like, it feels like putting this in the category of a phone is almost incorrect here then.
I think the phone is the first place to access a new type of platform.
Okay.
What's confusing is like we came to the market selling a phone. We had this big hairy problem, usability and security. And frankly, a lot of that can be solved with really good software and really good systems engineering, like one level below the app software, a little bit closer to the hardware. The problem is if we had just come out of the gate and we said, hey, Apple, Google, Samsung, we have the start of this great mobile crypto platform. It can be in addition to all the great stuff you're built. It doesn't have to replace anything, but it can just supercharge your phones. Back in 2022, they probably would have laughed us out of the offices. Like we probably wouldn't have gotten that meeting if we're being honest.
Yeah.
And so we took the bold step to build our own hardware. And so we built Saga. We learned a lot from it. We've built Seeker. But really, like the long trajectory here is about the platform experience. And so to the comment of TEE, like that is a component and like an environment that's available on pretty much every modern smartphone, but it also is available on other types of devices. And so for us, it's about how do you bring a more seamless, secure crypto experience to all types of devices. We started with Saga, we've continued with Seeker, but I think going forward, it could, we could bring this platform to more phones, to gaming handhelds, you name it. There's a lot of options.
Can you just put a finer point on what bringing this platform to, the iPhone or the Switch or something would actually look like?
Yeah, sure. iPhone's a tricky one.
I think you said gaming platform. The Switch popped in my mind.
Yeah, sure. iPhone's a tricky one. So I'm just going to put iPhone in its own special little box for a second. But yeah, another smartphone or another gaming handheld, there's kind of three core components that make what we're calling the start of our platform. The first is the seed ball, which is that TEE piece, secure self-custody, one level below the apps, right? Like we believe in self-custody. We believe you should be able to have your assets on your devices and not be worried that they're susceptible or vulnerable. So that's one. The second is some type of wallet interface. With Seeker, we really set out to build what we thought Apple Pay would look like if it supported crypto. Bottom sheet signing, super seamless, available whether you're on a website or in an app. You shouldn't have to do all this like weird back and forth nonsense. So that's the second piece, is the wallet layer. And then the third piece is an app store. If there's all this great mobile native innovation happening and you don't want to be stuck in in-app browsers, you need access to download native apps, whether those are traditional, DeFi apps, finance, whatever, or games. The third piece is our app store. So you could imagine another phone having that trio of products, or a gaming handheld having that trio of products, where maybe on a gaming handheld, you're playing games and you're signing in-app transactions super seamlessly. You self-custody locally on the device. You don't have to trust the game developer to hold things for you. So that's really the vision. And I throw gaming handhelds out there because it's like the other consumer electronic that people can imagine taking with them. But phones are where a lot of people spend money, move money, trade, and so that's obviously a good starting point.
No, I think it's helpful because the having not spoken to you before in any depth around any of the stuff, I kind of have you in this category of a phone and maybe make some assumptions around it, but it as sort of the right platform to bring out this broader platform play, I think is very interesting. And I know I think the guys here say that you have $100 million in assets deployed through the Seeker economy. Like what
Yeah.
is that? What type of assets are we talking about?
Yeah. So we've sold about 150,000 Seekers, which is great. It's amazing. We're super excited. We sold 20,000 of our first iteration Saga, but really we sold like 5,000 and then sold 15,000 real quick. To sell 150,000 is excited. We've shipped over 50 countries. People have gotten their phones, and I think one of the narratives about this is like, oh, am I just going to put this in a drawer? Am I ever going to really use this, right? The answer is people are totally using this. Like people are bringing funds from other places, right? If they were doing most of their trading on desktop or they had a software wallet on a phone, we're seeing a huge inflow of those assets to Seeker, to these wallets that they're creating, these new seed vault protected wallets, and they're trading them. Like they're using them, they're downloading apps from the store, they're spending money. And in turn, there's a whole bunch of developers who are building new types of products in the store, and they're basically returning the favor. We see teams like Backpack giving out nearly $700,000 in fee rebates. There's a whole slew of teams who are building new types of experiences. And because there's this huge inflow of assets and people spending real money, they're happy to give that back and continue to kind of spin the flywheel of user developer engagement.
Do developers building mobile apps have to do something special for it to be available on the Seeker, or
No,
no?
no, not at all. So if you've got an Android app, it works. The Solana App Store is an Android app store at the end of the day. We do see a lot of teams going way beyond that. Like I like to think back to the early days of the Apple App Store when it was like the beer app where you could like hold it up and the beer line would shift. Or so there's a little bit of that kind of innovation, which is like, oh, now I can build a native app as opposed to doing a website and it can transact on chain. What kind of new, kind of cool, interesting experiences can we build? We see a lot of games kind of innovating in that space. But there's also a bunch of really familiar names, the traditional DeFi apps, the Backpacks, the Jupiters. And so those teams either had an Android app that they've brought over to our store in addition to wherever else they distribute it, or they've built totally net new experiences into that app, whether it's giveaways or reward rates or earning boosts or totally new features. We try to keep the lift as light as possible, but we're also encouraging teams to like take advantage of the opportunity and not just ship the same old product that they have elsewhere.
So I think I could buy 3 Seeker phones for the price of a new iPhone, which is crazy. And it also leads me to think maybe selling hardware isn't the core of your business model. So how are you guys planning on making money? Like what is the economic opportunity here?
Yeah, hardware sucks. It's super expensive. You have to like sell lots and lots and lots and lots of hardware to get some margin. We wanted to make Seeker extremely competitive. We heard feedback about Saga. It was a little bit heavy. The screen could have been better and brighter. The cameras could have been better and brighter. And so we started from scratch and we said, okay, what is the phone that our users need? Whether they're using it as their primary or their secondary, what does it need to do? And that was a really exciting opportunity. So now we've got this really sleek phone. It's a little bit smaller of a footprint. It's got a crazy bright screen. It's got a triple camera array, which is pretty much unheard of at the $500 price point. But it's not because we're trying to sell phones and make lots of money on hardware. There's not a ton of margin to be had there. Fortunately, 150,000 phones is enough scale where we can get by and we're doing great. But ultimately, the long-term play here is in the platform, and soon we'll be launching SKR, which is the native token of this new platform ecosystem we're building. And so our skin in the game, our plan is how do we make that token capture as much of the value of this growing ecosystem as possible? So that's the long-term play for us. It's not like making $1 or $2 on each phone we sell, but rather thinking about ways to build new economic loops.
I guess the most obvious opportunity there, I guess, is monetizing the App Store in some way, and yet feels like that is, again, benefits from a walled garden that maybe doesn't quite exist in crypto. And so then I'm thinking it's volume or new asset issuance? Like, how are you, like, where's the actual sort of big economic opportunity here in this platform?
Yeah, there's a lot of directions that can go, frankly, and I don't have all the answers right now. There's still a lot. If we knew everything, we would have launched by now. We're still sorting through some of these things. The good news is, this ecosystem we're building has two parts. There's a bunch of first party stuff that we build and own. Things like our wallet, things like, the validator that we run. There's a bunch of kind of first party experiences that I think will continue to grow. The services that you would expect, frankly, another OEM to build that are a little more crypto centric. So there's some opportunity in there. But then also, as the ecosystem continues to grow, if developers have opportunities to earn tokens based on their performance in the store, there might ultimately be enough incentive alignment to, open the
Yeah,
door
you
for
guys
something
did a
like
really
that.
novel sort of airdrop early on as part of one of your initial phone distributions. I don't know if it was the Saga or the Seeker V1, which I think we talked about in one of our early live stream versions. So I actually really appreciate that answer, because I think what comes from it here is just like, if you can go build something that people integrate into their lives in some way, and then you can, drop a token on that deepens that feeling of participation. And then as long as you have some hints and directions you can go, I think that at the very least doesn't close off opportunities to you in a way that maybe is a strategic blunder.
Totally. And also, two additional things there. One, we're trying to build this in as open a way as possible. The walled garden is kind of the fear, but everything that we're building is going to be open to join. Whether you're a developer who wants to join, we're not going to be the one who's really holding your feet to the flames like Apple and Google do with their app review process, which is pretty opaque. But also, if you build hardware and you want to, you want your devices to join the network, we're going to be building the tools so that you can do that. It'll be an open permissionless network. There will be a set of guardians who are akin to validators who are making sure that the ecosystem is safe and secure, but we're not going to be the ones kind of meddling with every last thing. And then I think the second thing, you just brought up a really great point, which is the idea of kind of deepening the relationship. Something like Apple's product suite, they work great together. There's this kind of connected ecosystem of products. My headphones connect to my phone, connect to my laptop really well. A unique thing in crypto is that there are these economic tie-ins between all the products I use. There's this kind of openness and compatibility and transportability of these assets. And so we have an opportunity to build new types of loyalty that are not tied to just, product A connects to product B, but rather all of these ecosystem and economics and social connections, they all kind of flow out. And so we're trying to take a new spin on building loyalty within an ecosystem.
I mean, it makes me think of World almost, like using this token to bootstrap, their app store. So like, why not the phone that contains the app store and everything else?
Yeah, building a platform is super hard. Trying to do both the user side and the developer side at once is like nearly impossible. Being able to launch a token that can be a representation of those aligned incentives gives us opportunities to bootstrap. And we're also fortunate, we've sold 150,000 phones. There is cash there. We can work with developers if we need to, but frankly, we're just seeing a lot of organic demand. A lot of the teams who are already building crypto products see the value in this audience. They see that $100 million worth of assets have flown in already. They see that people are spending money, downloading apps, trying things. And so, you want to get to that point where the organic need to be there from developers outweighs any sort of bootstrapping we have to do.
I feel like one of the big things we'll look back on is sort of, I'm really trying to put language to this, but I think like the value of like a blockchain or an L1 is some mixture of like the mimetic social capital in it, plus the transaction volume, plus new asset issuance. And I think we've all sort of think that infrastructure L1s or L2s are like the platform of that. But I think we're seeing that model broken down quite a bit. I think Farcaster's doing something interesting there. I think Zora's doing something interesting there. I think I'm putting Solana Mobile and Seeker into that category, where if you're able to kind of be the platform where this financial activity is happening, and you have a token, we got a lot of interesting opportunities there. Okay, but we got to let you go here, but I want to know, I want the inside scoop on what you guys have planned for Breakpoint.
Boy. Okay, I'll share what I can so that nobody gets mad at me, but we will definitely be there. Our team is super excited. We're bringing the whole crew. We will obviously have Seeker available for purchase. We're working closely with the team at Decal to make that purchase process as simple as
Boring.
possible.
Come on, give us the goods, brother. Give us the goods.
Okay, if you haven't already bought one, you can buy one there. However, if you haven't already bought one and you show up, we are going to be doing some giveaways. So we're going to have a vending machine lottery system. So folks who are going to be in Abu Dhabi who either don't yet have a Seeker or are looking for a second one can swing by and
Seeker
have a
gotcha.
chance. Well, we will have plenty more to say as well, both about the future of our platform and the upcoming launch of our token. So I don't want to give away any headlines there.
My
but we'll
job
have
is to
plenty
try to
say.
make you say something that you regret. If I
I
don't try it all the
appreciate
time,
that.
I will.
We'll
But our brother, appreciate you hopping on. It's wonderful to chat. You guys have made some hires and moves over the last little while that should make anybody very bullish about what you guys are building, and probably says a lot about you, leadership, and the vision that you guys are pushing forward. So congrats on all that, and yeah, excited to maybe go win a phone at Breakpoint.
All right. We'll see you there. Guys, thanks for having me.
Thanks, Emmett.
Great talking to you.
Thanks, man.
Talk soon.